Good morning. I'm your host, Hassan Aline,
Co-host Carl
in
Williams,
apartheid, Michigan.
part-time Michigan,
Apartheid, Michigan.
and Detroit, especially Detroit.
Detroit. That covers everybody, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Hey, you know, the protest about, still an ongoing protest about the Michigan State Police captain or colonel, the one in charge, where she said the football players, the black players, were a bunch of degenerates.
yeah,
But, ladies and gentlemen, she was taught that.
that's right.
She was taught that. They go to school, that's what you learn in college. You learn that black folks are degenerates. It goes all the way back, back in the 40s and 50s when we were called Negroes and colored folks. They said they were underclass. You found out they had some, theories on what they call the norms and mores of society, the morals, the mores of societies. And they had just people you couldn't do anything about. They wasn't going to change their ways. And so you had this group of underclass, the criminals, people that were incarcerated. What do they call them? The degenerates. They call them degenerates. Al-
Incorrigible.
incorrigible, the alcoholics, the drug addicts, and they said the Negroes. Uh-huh. So she got it honest. Law enforcement people are taught that. Ku Klux Klan members are taught that hate,
Yeah. Hmm.
that vitriolic hate. And she shouldn't be there. Anybody that's that narrow-minded in this age and time, a woman, the glass ceiling, she got a promotion. How did she get a promotion? Was it on merit or was it that got to be your boss's girlfriend?
Buddy,
Isn't
sister.
that, isn't that what they're going on? Isn't that what they're talking about in Hollywood now? Isn't that what they're talking about? The producers, you get a promotion, all right, on the couch. They call it the couch promotion or the production couch when you go for a job interview in Hollywood. Oh yeah, that term's been around for 30 or 40 years, man. Hey,
I know it, but it just
what?
sounds funny,
It sounds
but
funny.
it's serious.
Theo called me this morning talking about a billboard on
Oh yeah, on the
Woodward.
freeway.
Well, you can see it from the freeway. You can see it from the Davidson Freeway. If you're going down Davidson, you're going east. So it's on the west side of Woodward, the billboard.
Mm.
So coming in here,
Yeah, she.
I
told
had
me
an
too, but I
opportunity
didn't see
to
it.
glance at it, and it sure enough is a horrendous. There was a lady, loosely clad with clothes, young lady, on the billboard, but they have some subliminal messages that they're giving out. And if you know what to look for from that book, what was that book composed 20, 15 years ago, Subliminal Seduction,
Yeah.
uh, the elbow, or not the elbow, the shoulder, not some other parts, but it looks like the phallic symbol to me. hmm Go out and check it out. Very diabolical, devious advertising. But those are the symbols that they use in advertising every day. We just not aware of them.
Yo,
Use them every day. How did you get to buy a magazine or something without these sexual images implicitly embedded in the picture? Consciously, we may not pick it up, but you can pick it up subconsciously. And sometimes you have to look hard. And you know what it is, Carl and ladies and gentlemen? We just don't believe it's there. We just don't believe somebody would embed the word sex or something like that in a magazine cover or in an advertisement. We don't believe that. We don't believe they have these phallic symbols embedded in this advertisement.
but everything's so open now until people just don't believe that they, have hidden messages.
Oh yeah, they got a lot of them.
But they always had them. We just, like you said, we wasn't aware of them. And they are codes, and they mean something.
Every day, every day. Now, it was it yesterday's paper? Day before, probably. The Sunday's paper, they were talking about how state of Michigan is taking over the local communities by having a law that counteracts their law, or it takes away local control if you don't want, what was one of the things? You don't want to air R&B, these local, I call it local one.
Ordinance.
Yeah, they're taking away the ordinances that says, well, this area in R&B is where you can rent out your home now for guests. Rooms in your home, rooms in rental property for a guest that's coming in out of town just for a day or two. The state is taking that kind of control away from the local folks that don't want that kind of thing going on in their neighborhood for whatever reason. And when are we going to fight back? Now the Democrats can take control of the state legislature or even the governor's race if they offer a candidate that's going to do something.
And if they get some spine and get out there and fight. They don't have no spine, it don't seem like. I was listening to one of the radio programs, I think it was yesterday, and they was talking about Hughley. He was talking about the spineless Democrats.
Who was talking about the spineless Democrats?
L.U. Hughley. He got had a TV program, he got a radio program too.
Right. I was wondering, I said, wait a minute, is that the comedian?
Yeah, he's
okay, all right.
But he get very serious up there, especially in some of these issues that he be talking about. I just happened to have him on the radio.
Okay.
And he brought it up.
All right. So, there is a problem with the Democratic Party not filling the candidates, not putting any kind of pressure out here on the state legislature or the governors to help the people. But 70% of the senators are term limited. So how come the Democratic Party can't capture the Senate? 70% of them are vacant. Whoever comes in there is going to be new. They're going to be brand spanking new. They don't know what they're doing. How come the Democratic Party is not running for all these 70 vacant seats across the state of Michigan?
But they should be.
Huh?
They should be.
Well, I say 70 senators, but not Senate seats, legislature seats. That's a combination of the House and the Senate. Yeah. They are running. They are running for office. And they're openings, rather, for people that are running for office. Now, the Democrats should start to challenge some of these laws that are on the book they got on there illegally. And you may say, how did they get on there illegally? Because they didn't follow the process. They didn't follow the constitutional process for putting laws on the ballot. That's why. That's what we're talking about. I turn to that section, Carl, on the legislature. You got a Michigan Constitution there. And it'll tell you that they can only have one subject or object.
That's Article 1.
In the bill. Not 3 and 4. See, they passed laws with 4 and 5 different subjects in the bill. That's not allowed under the Michigan Constitution. That's not allowed. They don't read the bill 3 times like they should. So when you don't follow the process, then the bill is null and void on its face. And they can go back and challenge the right to work, and they can win. Except they got people that won't cite the Constitution. How is it that you're going to get a law overturned that the state legislature put voted on and the governor signed, and you're going to get the law turned based on what? What are you going to base? What are you going to base your complaint on?
Let me see Article 4. Let me see.
It's in the legislature. It's in the
Yeah, I
front.
know that.
And so, if you don't cite the violations of the Constitution, the Michigan Constitution, you just whistling in the wind. You whistling Dixie. And that's the problem we have. The U.S. Supreme Court said they were not going to hear the case on the emergency manager. Therefore, the lower court of the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals opinion stand. But we said on this show many times, they're not going to win. We said many times the lawyers that are taking that case on the emergency manager to court, the lawyers that have that case before the court are not going to win. Number one, they came up with this fictitious, crazy stuff about losing your right to vote. They took our right to vote, and you believe that baloney. You believe somebody took your right to vote, but you're going every day or every election to the polls to vote. And if you're a voting car, how did they take your right to vote? You tell me what they might have been talking about or what they thought they were talking about.
Well, they overexpress the right to vote. Most of the time, I don't know how they always end up changing it to the right to vote. And a lot of times they may have the issue, and it might include the right to vote. They'll drop the main issue and continue to talk about the right to vote. And that's why every time they go to court, they end up losing. Most people don't know that. Well, we know it because anytime they have these laws, different things they want to pass, we get it, and a lot of times we read it over the air right here on this program. And we explain to you that it's not the right to vote. This is the main issue. Although you can include the right to vote in it, but the right to vote wasn't the main issue. So, you know, we get crossed up quite a bit. You know, they didn't won a few battles with the right to vote and seemed like I guess you say almost stuck on stupid. Like they don't see nothing else.
You know, the NAACP, the South Carolina NAACP, I believe it's South Carolina. If it's not South Carolina, it's North Carolina. It's headed by a Reverend Barber, I believe that's his name, Barber. And they have won about 9 different lawsuits in that state. You know, prejudice of South, the Carolinas are, they have won 9 to 10 lawsuits in that state because they cited the violations of the South or North Carolina Constitution.
Now, I'll tell you something.
And it tells me a whole lot. It should tell our listeners a whole lot and viewers a whole lot. The fact that these handkerchief head, Uncle Tom lawyers that you get to represent you in court are not citing the law. They're citing what they feel and what they think. And I'm going to continue. They're going to continue to be on the other side. That's all they're doing. They double agents. We've been telling you that all the time, that they laying down on the job. You know, and then people say, oh, the courts are against us. Oh, the court's doing that. The courts don't have to do anything. Your lawyer threw the case for you.
Then he tell you it was the judge, and you believe it.
Never cited the law. Never cited the law. We cite it all the time. We tell you that the governor doesn't have that authority. When you look in the Michigan Constitution, when you look in the Michigan Constitution, it says there's a state school board, an elected state school board that's over education across the whole state. And they give recommendations to the legislature. Now, what recommendations did they give to the legislature? I haven't heard one. So the legislature went along and made some laws without the state school board's input.
So that's illegal because they are usurping the constitutional board's power,
But
and
now
they can't.
they're saying, well, we want to this we as the Republicans, they want to get rid of the state board. They want to get rid of the state school board. But guess what? It's a constitutional state school board. It's mandated by the Constitution, and they can't get rid of it without a vote of the people. The governor wants to be able to appoint somebody. He can't appoint anybody. We've been
So,
telling you that. And all this stuff was in the paper last week. I'm like, what happened? Them people that went crazy, they just putting everything out here.
no, yeah, because most people not read the paper
They putting everything out. Well, they
like they
lamed up.
should.
They going out the door, and they trying to blame the Democrats for what the Republicans did, and they've been in control. And they said, well, they weren't in control of the school board, but you were in control of the money, though. You were in control of the money for the school districts and the colleges, and the governor took illegally gonna take the office of school reform office, the one that closed the schools, out of the state board of education, and say he was gonna close the school. That's when they really got mad and started fighting, when they got this new superintendent. When they got a new superintendent, and they started to really fight in their own way to get it back. And when some of the suburban schools, when the East Point filed a lawsuit against the governor over this emergency manager, because they started taking over their school. So it was okay as long as they were taking over Detroit. But what can they say about it? What can they say about it? They couldn't file for Detroit. Detroit had to file. If they wanted to file a lawsuit, they'd have to file. Detroit had to file for themselves, couldn't they?
That's
Yeah,
right.
they'd have to file for themselves.
They could join with Detroit after Detroit filed for something.
Right.
Other than that,
But
they can't say nothing.
And so, Detroit, did they ever file? Did the Detroit School Board ever file a lawsuit? Or when they did, I think they went to the wrong court.
Yeah.
You know, and what was that guy, Herman Moore? Was it Herman somebody on the school board, the old school board, they held it up.
Sanders, was it Herman Sanders?
No. This was a Herman somebody, Moore, I think it was Moore. But anyway, he held it up. And we talked about that here on the show. So they playing games. That's all it is. They playing all these little games. And, well, they had a meeting last week. They wanted you to come out and meet the state school superintendent, VD. And all that talk about what? Nothing? You know, what is this program? He don't have one. What he said, take 5 to 10 years for them to bring you up where you learn A from B. Man, these guys done went crazy. Mr. Engineer, could you check into whether we're getting any calls? We're not getting any calls through here. And I got a call, I just didn't answer it, from from Tyrone. They called me on my cell phone, so I know something's going on.
Oh, yeah, let's get back to the making a law under the legislature. Article 4, Section 28. It says laws, objects, title, amendment, and changing purpose. No law shall be embraced more than one object which shall be expressed in its title. No bill shall be altered or amended on its passage through either the House so as to change its original purpose as determined by the total content and not alone by its title. So that's about 3 or 4 violations I've seen
Yeah.
already. First of all, it had to be expressed in the title. So if it's not expressed in the title, then you start talking about it later on. Well, that's a violation of this Constitution because it said it had to be expressed in the title, also in the body of the amendment or the Constitution.
But it said that these amendments couldn't change
Couldn't change or alter the purpose.
of the bill.
That's right.
So the folks up there don't know what they're doing. They're not saying anything. I'm talking about the Democratic legislatures. They're not doing anything. Now, the Democratic Party, the DNC, the National Democratic Party, has given out $10,000 to the state Democratic parties across the country. They give them $10,000 every month.
Every month.
Well, they're trying to organize. Well, I want the people to know what's going on. I heard it on the television. They were talking about somebody, and one of the assistant, I didn't get his name, but he was from South Carolina, down in the South somewhere. They got an assistant director or person there in the state Democratic Party, and he was saying that in order for the Democrats, they're trying to get the ground game together to get back in and find out what the people want and get on the ground and help the folks organize and elect candidates. They're going back to they're leaving Hillary Clinton's methods alone and going back to the ones that work. They're going back to President Obama, and they don't want to say they want to say.
They don't want to give him credit for nothing.
Right, but what it was the other guy, the chairman was Donald. Who was it? You know who did you know?
What, Dunfield?
No, I'm trying to think of the man's name. And see, I'm on television. I call him Donald Duck, but I can't think to let me. Well, you know that the Duck Party, so I know his name. But he was the doctor, and he ran for. He was a candidate for president for a while. You know, I'm not trying to insult the man, but I'm trying to get something. Yeah, you know, because we don't hear his name all the time. And he's been on Howard Dean. Howard Dean, that's his name. Yeah, Howard Dean. Is that Howard Dean? Well, anyway, I'm going to have to get the man's name right. Somebody, see, people that know, they can't even call in. Something going on around here. Why does that always happen on our show?
I wonder.
Why does that always happen on our show?
That's on this show.
I guess we're giving out some information that they don't want given out.
Yeah.
So here in Michigan, Democratic Party chairman, what's his name, Dillon? Brandon Dillon. So they received $10,000. They're going to receive $10,000 monthly stipend. So how come we're not getting anything in the 13th or the 14th district? But lo and behold, we are, Carl.
What?
Yeah, we are getting some money. But it seemed like the money went to, what's the guy's name? Jonathan Kinloch.
Kinloch?
Oh, yeah, Kinloch. Well, look, it's $10,000 to the state party chairman in Michigan, and the money is now divvied up across the state. You know, that $10,000 is broken up, and I don't know. They might, let's just say they give people hundreds now, which would be at the precinct level, 13, 14, different, and you know, the precincts. And so Kinloch gets a chauffeur.
Oh.
He gets somebody, a paid chauffeur, to chauffeur him around. And I guess he gets an allowance. I read that somewhere, but I didn't know where the money was coming from. So I didn't know the money was coming from the Democratic Party to get boots on the ground to elect people in the state legislature, to elect Democratic people, period.
And I don't see him doing nothing.
Well, he's got a chauffeur, and he got a paid chauffeur.
Yeah, that's for him. That's personal use.
Oh, yeah.
I don't see him doing nothing to get the people on the ground out to vote. I don't see him doing anything, and that's what the money was for.
That's what the money is for, and it's coming every month. But you know, they didn't say that.
Yeah,
I guess I would have to go to the Democratic meetings, the delegate meetings, in order to find out how much money they were giving out. But I haven't heard anybody say that, so they're not telling them. They don't even know where the money came from or how the man is getting a chauffeur. Now, what does that come down to? He's getting a chauffeur because his license was suspended. And this is the same Jonathan Kinloch that was on the school board. He voted to accept the budget that Superintendent Connie Calloway had put forth, and which was a balanced budget, and the people screamed and hollered about it. This was Nolan Finley, Detroit News, the Free Press, the governor, everybody went ballistics when Connie Calloway came in and balanced the school board's budget. They had a fit. Wayne County prosecutor Kim Worthy hauled Jonathan Kinlock in the court, said he was not in compliance with his probation. He had a DUI. Driving while...
Driving while drunk.
Well, we call it driving while drunk, but it's driving under the influence. That's what they call it now, driving under the influence. DUI. Okay, so they took him in the court, threatened to lock him up. He came back to the school board, changed his vote. How could he do that? Because they made him put in a motion for reconsideration, which he could do that since he was on the winning side. Then, when the vote came up, he was the pivot vote, for he voted against the budget. Then they jumped up and down about Connie Calloway, and guess who else jumped up and down in that fiasco? Kilpatrick. He was mayor. That was Mayor Kilpatrick, Kwame Kilpatrick. He stuck his nose in it. You see, they cut it off. When they got what they wanted. So up popped the emergency manager because they couldn't balance the budget. And the ballot was budget balanced, and they didn't like it, so they got Jonathan Kinlock. Kinlock seems to get jobs all over the place.
Yeah, they use him, and then they
they just
push
use
him somewhere else and use him.
He's on, let me see.
He's doing nothing for us.
What, he's on the Port Authority? He's on 2 or 3 other places. What else is he on? Well, I forgot about it, but I'll look it up. Folks were supposed to call in and tell me all this stuff, but I guess they cut our phone line. And you don't believe your phone is tapped. You don't believe somebody listening to your phone. Stay off of the phone. You can't organize over the phone. They know everything you're thinking about. They know everything you're thinking about anyway, because they got all these John Kinlocks snitching on you.
That's right.
So, head of the 13th district. Now you know why, ladies and gentlemen, they didn't campaign for Hillary Clinton. The 13th district didn't campaign for Hillary Clinton over the summer. Wow. When they should have been out doing the warm weather campaigning.
Didn't they shut down the 13th and the 14th district?
Yeah, I know they shut down the 13th. I said they went on vacation.
It was both of them, 13 and 14.
They didn't do anything. I know they didn't do anything. Now, how do you go, it's a campaign season, and you go somewhere, and then they tell us the Russians hacked our election.
And we believe that crap.
Yeah, a lot of people believe the Russians did that. But they don't put 2 and 2 together, because they don't put the fact that nobody got out there and campaigned for Hillary Clinton.
It had nothing to do with the
And then they say, oh, President Obama he went to Ann Arbor. Wow. He went to a little college town, Ann Arbor, and talked to how many people? 10,000 maybe? If that. Now, how many people could he have talked to if he went down to Hart Plaza? And nobody accuses Ann Arbor of being the juggernaut, the one that pulls in the people. Nobody said, well, if Ann Arbor had voted, we'd have won the election. Did they ever say that?
They never mentioned it.
Because they don't count like Wayne County and Detroit does. So why wouldn't President Obama invited to Detroit or anywhere in Wayne County? They didn't want him here. And when you examine the places, they got rid of the National Party chairman, Wasserman Schultz. Got rid of her right in the election. How do you do that? How do you get rid of the party chairman that has a large, what is she, the third? Florida has the third largest electoral college count. You get rid of them, and therefore you don't win Florida. This was by design. And they don't want you to know that the Clintons was playing fast and loose. But what do you call it when you look at the facts? What do you call it? Now, you know, it's something interesting. They reported last night that Miss Hillary Clinton slipped and fell. She on some strong medication. This second time, remember when she slipped doing the,
Yeah,
they had to hold her up during the campaign. They showed
yeah.
that. They ran that over and over again. So she has some
Problems, yeah.
some kind of
Medical
physical, physical and medical. It's physical when you can't stand on your own and you tripping and falling down steps. And if she's under that, why would she be wearing heels anyway? I don't. If you having problem walking, you shouldn't even be in a pair of pumps. You ought to be in them Dr. Scholl's or something.
Yeah, you would think.
And that's anybody just trying to stay up and navigate up and down stairs. So but hopefully she recovers. Hopefully she recovers. But we have to understand what happened, ladies and gentlemen. We are being sabotaged. Our elections are being sabotaged from the inside. I wouldn't even call it sabotage. Really, if the Republicans get their people in, under the disguise of being a Democrat, the Kinlocks,
The Duggins.
and we sit up there and act like you don't know. Why did all these people vote for Jonathan Kinlock? These dyed-in-the-wool wannabe Democrats. Why did they vote for him to be chairman of the 13th district? Why did these precinct delegates even vote for him? What kind of cut are they gonna get? You know, Kinlock, along with the preachers, don't know that if Mike Duggan gets in, if he's reelected, he don't need them.
Not no more.
And he gonna bounce them out of there so fast. He gonna say that you gonna say, oh, I forgot he did work for Mike Duggan, didn't he? He used to work for Duggan. What do he need you for? The Republicans are in power, they're in control, and their object is to shut down the Democratic Party. How do you do that? How do they keep control of the White House, of the Senate, and they are becoming less and less in the population? How do they keep control? So they say, well, we're going to control by any means necessary. And one thing they're doing, they have started working with the Democrats as a fifth column spy ring, you might as well call it. So, but this is the fifth column, meaning they have people in your organization working for them. The mayor, Mike Duggan, he was on the EAA board, secretary. He said, well, I don't even remember being there. I don't know what happened to that $12 million. That $12 million they asked me about. Roy Roberts resigned. He said, I don't need this. What are you talking about? I stay down in Arizona. I don't have to be up in here listening to y'all accuse me of stealing money. He cut out. So you have Mr. Republican in Democratic clothes, Mike Duggan. So some of them preachers got to be Republican in Democratic clothes. They're supporting him.
That's right. Every last one.
And they are there all the time. They have stolen our money. How is it that retirees that had a pension cut, had a health care benefits cut, how are they even thinking about voting for Mike Duggan?
Oh, it's beyond me.
What is he going to do? Now it's different when you didn't know he was there. You didn't know he was there, saying to Kevin, saying to Snyder, we need to we need to get a black
Black
guy.
guy from
So let's get Kevin
EM.
Orr so we can fool the people. They're not going to fight us if you bring somebody black in. What do you think that was all about? We know we know that's what he said because Robert Davis got him in the emails.
That's why they were so upset with Robert Davis.
That's why they helped push him on into jail.
Oh,
Prison.
yeah.
Said they knew it was stealing the money all the time. They didn't
Yeah.
care. So this is what we have. You have these conflicting issues going on in our mind where you don't believe the man's going to do something like that. Well, he's done it. And all he got to do is do the politically correct. Donald Trump, I didn't say that. And you're not going to check the facts. And the man just keeps lying. He just keeps lying. Oh, what did he say? Well, when it comes time to reelect me, when it comes time, just look and see if I turned on the lights, I should be reelected. If I did a poor job, I shouldn't be. This come out of his mouth.
Yeah.
Then he's running around telling people, I put the lights on. The lights were never
Never
off.
off.
They were never off.
And he's still telling that same lie.
Telling it every day. Walks around taking everybody's hand. Oh, yeah. I turned the lights on. They were never off. And guess what, Mike Duggan? Guess what, Mr. Mayor? We've got less lights.
Less lights,
Than we
less
had.
lighting. It's ridiculous.
We've got less light bulbs, less LEDs than we had before you became mayor. So this kind of stuff the man talks.
And people let him get away with it. Nobody's challenging him on it.
And I can't figure out why these preachers, these ministers and bishops are sitting around letting this man jack them up, jack the church up, and they're going to put the church out of business. Well, it's the law. We got to do this. He's lying. That ain't the law. That's something that he wants to do because Snyder told him. Gary Brown was appointed by Snyder. Y'all don't know that, do you? We got short
You
memories.
keep forgetting.
Governor Snyder appointed Kevin Orr. Kevin Orr appointed Gary Brown to a position he knows nothing about. He was a cop, a police officer that lied on Kilpatrick, Kwame Kilpatrick, and nobody said a word. Lied on him. Oh, he fired me. That's what Gary Brown said.
Yeah, he told
He was fired by the mayor. And see, the mayor and the mayor's people didn't even read the city charter. If you had read the city charter says that the mayor can't fire anybody that was in a regular service or was a civil service employee. And he got appointed to the mayor's staff. Now what the charter says, just that clear, and you have to return. The mayor don't like him, he got to go back to his formal position at the formal pay. Now that's what happened. Everybody in the police department knows that. Anybody that picks up a charter or goes online, they can read that. And I've said it many times on this show that the city charter will not let the mayor fire anybody, any department head, any of those city officials, department heads that were in place when Coleman Young got in there. I know you don't believe it, but people that know, a lot of them retired now, know that they had two directors of personnel. They had two directors of Parks and Rec. They couldn't fire the man. So Coleman Young wanted his people in there. He just hired another one. So they had two deputy directors. And most of the guys that wouldn't say, well, I'm not working for him, so okay, they set them over there at DPW Davis and Yara. still over there. Brand new yard over there on Davidson. What is that? Just for Livernois, right after Livernois. Between Livernois and Wyoming. So they call it Davidson Yard. Nah, right there, Davidson Freeway. Or just before the freeway goes, not the Davidson Freeway, the Davidson Street. But okay, I know you say, oh no, the mayor fired a whole lot of people. Yeah, well, he didn't fire any of them. When the 74 charter came out, 1974 charter was instituted, it said that you could not fire anyone that was hired under the previous charter. That was everybody then.
Yeah, everybody.
That was everybody worked for the city. It says that you can't lay the people off if they were hired under the previous charter. That's currently what it says. How are those people being laid off? How are all of those people being laid off for the longest? Ask me employees.
Didn't have sense enough to read the charter.
and then your union president would argue with you about it. Man, it's crazy. It's crazy. This thing is crazy. But let's get back to reality. You're going to say, I know a lot of you now are saying, you might be a first-time viewer. You might be a suburban viewer, since this goes all over the place, all over the country. Say, no, man, that don't make sense. How are you going to tell me the mayor couldn't fire somebody just because they were hired under the old charter, or you brought out a new city charter, and so they couldn't fire anybody? He can only fire people under the new charter. Well, that's what it says.
Yeah.
Now,
They still available. Go get one. Get a copy. You read it for yourself.
Mayor Coleman Young was the first black mayor in the city of Detroit. Now, white people aren't crazy. They knew by the population changes, what they call the demographics, that blacks were going to be in charge. When they had been elected to Cleveland, Gary, Indiana. You had Richard Hatchett. You had, what's the guy's name? His son is here. Stokes, Carl Stokes in Cleveland. Okay, so they knew that. They knew sooner or later it was going to be a mayor. So they put protection on their cells. You know, those are two things, two books, and they're little pamphlets, but I'm going to call them a book. You need to get a city charter, and you need to get a state constitution. Mm-hmm. So and you can, and a federal. So it's three things you need.
And one more.
What?
You need to get the human rights pamphlet, too.
Well, they can get the human rights. Yeah, get the human rights.
That's where we're going to end up going.
But here's my point. They put protection on themselves. So when one group came in and overpowered the other in government, they couldn't throw everybody out or lock them up. They put protection on themselves. They weren't going to let this guy come in here, Coleman Young, who they blackballed in the UAW, who he couldn't hardly get a job anywhere. He was working part-time. Mm-hmm. You know, they weren't going to let this guy come in there and see what they were doing and just fire him willy-nilly. They put protection on themselves. And you tell me, when white people in power and they going to let a black man fire him, that ain't happening today. And you sure know it didn't happen back in the early 70s when Coleman Young got in office.
No,
Which one was fired? Which city department head was fired? There were none. When Coleman Young's niece was strip searched out here at the 12th precinct on Woodward, they didn't fire the captain out there. The captain of the precinct that allowed for the strip search and everything that went on out there, the captain, you had what, those district commanders, you had deputy chiefs back there, nobody got fired. Why? Now, come on, you think Mayor Coleman Young was going to stand for that? Well, he didn't stand for it.
He didn't stand for it.
He didn't stand for it. He declared war on the Detroit Police Department.
That's right.
That was war. You think this guy in Korea was something? Hey, he would have nuked them if they
Ain't
had
that
some
so?
nukes. It was he declared war on them. He had so many black police officers, their head was swimming. Hey, I mean, I call it war, but he wouldn't allow them to
It
do
was
any of that,
war.
and they never got fired. Now the captain was forced out. They gave him early retirement and stuff like that. That's how they got him out of there. They had to pay him to go. Ain't that something, a paid leave? That's what happened back then. So Kwame Kilpatrick could not fire Gary Brown. How did Gary Brown, what was that, $8 million? How did he get
Yeah.
that money? How did he get the money on a lie that everybody knew? How did he get that money? And then he didn't have no sense. He sat up there, I'm talking about the mayor, your boy, Kilpatrick, sat up there and went along with it. Let him force him out. That's what set it up where they put him in jail. Listening to a bunch of lawyers, double agents, all the time. They got him some black lawyers and they crossed him out, stabbed him in the back. And he's up in Sing Sing somewhere. I don't know what prison he in. Well, sorry. That's one of the more famous, that Sing Sing in the Rock, isn't it?
Yeah.
Alcatraz? Or was that Sing Sing? I
Yeah.
don't know. They got him somewhere. But the man never knew what hit him. And y'all just keep saying, oh, he's a lawyer. He's a licensed attorney. Well, he needed to go get his money back.
A lot of them need to go get
They
their
need
money
to go
back.
get their money back since they don't know anything. How is it the preachers are sitting here letting the man put them out of business with the water, with the drainage fee that don't exist?
Don't exist. Something they made up. There's no law. There's no ordinance. There's no statute. There's no nothing but his policy.
And
what he want to say.
the Michigan Supreme Court has ruled in their favor. Now, when the Michigan Supreme Court has ruled in our favor, in the previous ruling, Boat versus
Lansing.
City of Lansing, we won't say that. We won't follow that, but we quick to say, oh, the court, they rule against us, man, all the time. They're against us. Oh, yeah. You know, them white folks on the court, they prejudice, they Republicans. Yeah. Give me a break. Now you won't open your mouth and say something when it's in our favor.
Yeah. And he ain't got a leg to stand on. That's all you got to say. I'm going to follow the Michigan State Supreme Court decision in Boat versus City of Lansing.
This says it's voluntary. And voluntary, that means you got to join. Tell them to take you
That's
out
right.
of it. That's all. Take you out of their little drainage fee. You don't want to be part of it. And we done told you 100 times the man is lying to you, and he gonna do like Trump said the other day about President Obama not talking to the families of the fallen veterans that got killed over there in the war. When they asked him about it again and say, no, that's not right, he said, well, that's what I was told. He said, I don't know, a general, somebody told me that. So he just shooting off of the mouth. He know he lying. And I guess that's what Duggan's going to say. Well, Gary Brown told me. Well, somebody told me. Now he going to put it on somebody else, but he wants to shut your church down, which is the political base, and now they don't even have to come talk to you. So that's why I can't understand. We can't see past our nose. We can't see past our nose. You're going to cut your nose off to spite your face.
See, people didn't forget think about 2 years ago when they had the human rights issue here, it was Snyder that ordered for all the waters to shut off, and then they had a big rally about it. And they was talking about basic human rights, that the water was a basic human right. And then Snyder backed up off of it, and he went and talked to his buddy Duggan, and then Duggan said, well, we can't do it this way. So he come up with this drainage fee.
Well, they're going to shut the churches down, and when the churches are shut down, where the blacks going to protest? Where they going to protest? You know, NAN, the National Action Network, is basically their chapters are headed up by preachers all across the country.
Yeah.
Okay, so where are the churches going here? Are they going to shut Nan down? Or are you going to park on the street? They're going to get them a drainage fee? Now, even though they got grass in their parking lot, they're going to come up with some other kind of thing, some other fee to cut the less money. All of it's a lie. So all this political action that they're doing, how they going to do it, and they're going to cut your water off.
And all you got to do is call Hood Research or call me at 521-5012. That's 521-5012.
But you don't, you got to clear your voicemail.
Oh, it's clear.
Okay. Well, I mean, you get so many calls.
I found out I had another problem, too. It wasn't just the voicemail. So now I have to check it every day.
Yeah, I've been telling you that. You got to check it every day. Giving out your number, and you know they don't want you talking to these people. They don't want us giving this information out. Because we haven't had a call today, so we know the lines is messed up. We know the lines is messed up.
Now, they start working after the show.
Oh, the next caller to come in, the next show to come on, yeah, they'll be working real fine then. That go to show you. That goes to show you. It's supposed to be two-way communication here. I wonder if they're going to give us a discount. They're going to cut our money. Two-way communication. This is a talk show. You can call in. Something's going on. Can't have this every week getting up to election day.
Yes, yeah, very crucial now. Because the information that we're giving out, they need it.
To
determine the election. Help to determine the election.
Especially when you got a person that Prosecutor Kim Worthy can turn on and off, which is Jonathan Kinloch, make him change his vote. So maybe she told him to shut down and things like that. And you have, this is the same, you may say, well, she's a Democrat. Yeah, but this is the same prosecutor. So what, she's a Democrat. She fixes so the
just
Republican.
Like Duggan. Democratic clothing. What have she done for the Democratic Party since she been in there? Nothing. Everything that she have done since she been in there is like get black folks. But when somebody white does something, you don't see anything.
Like the jail, like the jail mess over there, the Wayne County Jail. Look, ladies and gentlemen, Kim Worthy got a, what do they call it? She got an order where you couldn't even see the file.
Yeah, try to make it is a public matter.
That's
illegal right there.
Public money. And we can't even see the file. Told the auditor over there that audited the place that if you say anything, we're going to lock you up. Then she did have those auditors and the county auditor and the finance director, somebody at the county, put them on trial. Put them on trial because they said that the contractor was wrong and they owed the money. Put them on trial to make them shut up.
Yeah.
And they did get off.
That's Miss Worthy for you.
Yeah. So if you say something, you know she's coming after you. And that's like when they got ready. I mean, all you got to do is look at it. How did Kwame Kilpatrick? I didn't forget what she said he did. What lie did she say he told? Isn't that the one that she got him and say that, they said that Kwame Kilpatrick had lied on oath.
Oh, yeah.
About firing Gary Brown. And he couldn't fire him by the charter, and she knew that. And if she didn't know that, the other prosecutors knew that, all her assistants knew that. And so nobody opened their mouth.
No, that's right.
Conspiracy? Well, you figure that one out. Well, nobody, I don't know if it was a big conspiracy or not. They were paid anyway. You know, they jacked Kim Worthy up, the IRS, and they said they were going to prosecute her. So you need to go back and see if, you know, the government's ain't got the hooks in her and they telling her what to do. Oh, yeah. I forgot y'all don't read the paper. And then the other ones got short memories. Maybe that was from drinking all that E&J way back in the day. you know. But that's the game that's going on, young blood and old school, and we need to become aware of it, and we need to sit down and read the Constitution. And when we read the Constitution, we read the city chart, you'll see we've been lied to. They lie to us every day, all day long.
All day.
They don't care. Well, it's been fun talking to you, and it would have been a lot better if we had got some interaction
Yeah.
and from our callers, our loyal callers to call in. But don't worry, I think they had a problem sorted out next week. At least we hope they
I
had
hope they will.
a problem sorted out next week. I'm your host, Hassan Aline.
Co-host Carl Williams.
And we're here every Tuesday at 9 o'clock. So regardless of what, if you're able to talk or not, we will be pumping out the information.
And if it's available, we're going to be on the extra half an hour next week.
Yeah, we can't do it now. Can
No,
we?
don't make no sense to do it now. We can't get no calls.
Right. So we'll see you next week, same time, 9 o'clock, in Apartheid, Michigan.